Hey there, I'm Sean Power here at the Hilson Studio. Today we're here to check out some new vintage-styled compressors from Warm Audio. Let's get into it. The WA76-D and D2 accurately reproduce single or dual channel options of the fastest and most powerful studio compressors of all time, the original 1176 Rev D FET compressor. The most celebrated 1176 revision is known for its cleaner gain staging, powerful dynamic control, and rich analog tone. WA76-D has added modern controls that greatly expand the compressor's already legendary versatility and utility. The wet-dry knob delivers parallel compression for blending in the exact amount of dynamics control with the original dry signal. For bypass modes, you've got options. Set the attack to off and you get both input and output stage coloration and grit without any compression. Roll the wet-dry to 100% dry to hit the output stage only, or use the bypass switch for true bypass operation to hear your original signal uncolored. The selectable input impedance switch helps work with modern recording interface outputs as well as other analog gear. The variable high-pass filter cuts low-end frequencies in the sidechain path only, letting you shape the sound the detector hears, all while leaving your audio signal untouched. The single-channel WA76-D has added external sidechain flexibility. There's an insert so you can use an outboard EQ to shape the signal going to the compression detector, and you can also just use the input for keying with an external signal. It also supports stereo linking, allowing you to daisy chain up to 10 of the same compressor together. The WA76-D2 is a dual-channel model with multiple stereo operating modes that transform the compressor from stereo unit to dual mono unit to lead-follow linked unit, all in one switch. In stereo linked mode, both channels' gain settings work independently, but their sidechains are linked together to ensure even compression on both sides. In this mode, the loudest channel settings will dictate both channels' behavior. In lead follower mode, the left channel's sidechain only will dictate how both channels operate. Channel B does not contribute to the compression on either side, but rather follows channel A, ensuring both sides compress equally. In dual mono mode, each side operates independently, with all controls operating only on program material being sent to that channel. All of these added features make the WA76-D and D2 an ideal choice for modern recording workflows that require vintage tone shaping. The WA76-D uses premium capacitors and resistors and a revised preamp stage, improving the linear response of the FET. The WA76-D also uses custom components like the built-to-vintage spec 012 input transformer and a 5002 output transformer from Cinemag to achieve authentic 1176 Revision D compression, known for having a low-noise preamp stage and unmistakably analog character. Let's hear how it sounds. All the audio samples were recorded through the WA273 flat with no EQ. For vocals, we use the WA87R2 and compress it with the WA76-D set to a 4:1 ratio. You'll hear the signal raw, compressed, and finally in the context of a mix.
I'll start the cycle all over again, 'cause the truth is you can't find forever in a play to lose honeymoon phase. But there's no crime in seeking some shelter to wait out the rain. So I want you to stay.
This compressor is killer on all kinds of drum applications. We mic'd the snare with some WA19s through the WA273, added some EQ for shaping, and ran into the WA76-D with a 4:1 ratio and a just slow enough attack to let some of the transients through. Have a listen. We put a pair of WA84s on overheads and ran it into the WA76-D2 in stereo mode with an 8:1 ratio to shave off some of the transients from the drum. For drum rooms, we used a pair of WA14s in figure 8 mode, with the compressor in stereo and a 20:1 ratio. This really squishes the transients and brings up the sound of the room. For For electric guitars, we ran through a Bad Cat Hot Cat 30 into a Marshall 412 and mic'd up 2 speakers with WA14s. The stereo mode ensures both sides compress evenly. The sidechain high-pass filter focuses the compression on the mids and highs. And of course, it sounds even better doubled through the WA76-D2 in stereo mode. We set up a WA14 in cardioid mode to track acoustics. The WA76-D helps level out some of the dynamics from the strumming, as well as adding some life to the attack. The sidechain high-pass filter is on to prevent the compressor from reacting to the more boomy frequencies of the guitar. We ran bass into an Eden head and an Ampeg cab and mic'd it with the WA47 FET flat with no EQ. The sidechain high-pass filter cuts some of the low frequencies only in the sidechain path. This helps minimize major compression spikes on sources with lots of low end while leaving the audio path flat. This has a little bit of the dry signal blended back in to even out the balance of compression. For trumpet, we ran a WA14 into the WA273 with no EQ. You can hear how the WA76-D evens out this dynamic performance, retaining the expression while helping it sit more evenly in the track. This compressor has unlimited applications for post-productions as well. You can use it on a stereo drum bus to add some more life and even out the whole group. Here we balance a mix of drums and use the WA76-D2 on the whole group, running out from the DAW into the compressor and bringing the process signal back in. If you're getting too much compression, you can blend back in some of the dry uncompressed signal. Another great application is for keying and ducking, like with a kick and a bass guitar. Patch the bass signal into the compressor input and output like normal, then send some kick drum to the external sidechain input and engage the switch. This makes it so the compressor detector reacts only to the kick drum, ducking the bass under each kick hit according to the attack and release settings. You can still use the sidechain high-pass filter and wet-dry blend to dial in the right amount of ducking if need be. The WA76-D2 is great on stereo groups as well. On this doubled acoustic guitar, we use the stereo mode to compress both sides evenly. The wet-dry blend helps balance the amount of compression with the original signal, and the sidechain high-pass helps reduce compression from the lower frequencies coming off the guitars. This is a fantastic compressor with tons of new features over other units. The wet-dry blend allows you to drive the compression and still blend in untouched signal, and the built-in sidechain high-pass filter cleans up frequencies to avoid unwanted compression from beefy low end. The added flexibility on the WA76-D adds external sidechain connections useful for de-essing, ducking, and linking a bunch of units together. It's quiet and clean, but you can drive it as hard as you like, even in the attack off mode, and just use it for analog grip. Besides dual mono and stereo operation, the A to AB lead follow mode enables uses like separately compressing a snare top and bottom according to the top signal only. It's a new take on a classic and another great tool for the studio. Thanks for watching. Head on over to warmaudio.com to find out even more information about the WA76-D.